Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Here's John and Heidi.
Today is a special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
I thought you'd never ask. Let's do the whole darn weekend. Are you okay with that?
Sure.
All right. Saturday is April the 13th. It is National Scrabble Day, National Thomas Jefferson Day, National Peach Cobbler Day, National Make Lunch Count Day, and National Record Store Day. I love record stores. They got a cool smell. You walk in, I can smell the vinyl and other stuff, too. Also, it is the 14th of April is Sunday, is the 14th, whatever I'm trying to say. National Gardening Day, National Reach as High as You Can Day, National Pan American Day, National Ex-Spouse Day. You going to call your ex-spouse?
No.
Me neither. It's also National Dolphin Day and National Pecan Day. Also, I have a guest for this weekend program, the G-Man himself, Allan Gitlin. He's a stand-up comic, a sit-down comic, actor, a voiceover man, a voice under man. I'm reading what he has. He does a lot of stuff. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
Do you have a pretty good sense of humor? You might like this. Early in the morning each day and every day, we share something weird to make people laugh at WeirdGiftOfTheDay.com. You don't need to sign up for anything. You don't even need to spend a penny. Just follow the page on Facebook and get a smile to start each day when we share the Weird Gift of the Day. Not on Facebook? That's okay. You can see the weird gifts on our website too. WeirdGiftOfTheDay.com. That's WeirdGiftOfTheDay.com.
Now, surveys and studies and such brought to you by BetterCreditCards.net. A study by the Journal of Psychology found that the brain damage from being drunk lasts up to 6 months after you quit drinking.
Huh.
So if you drink a lot and you just kind of can't remember stuff, and you're like, I don't know. I don't know where I parked my car. I don't know why my family left. I don't know.
I don't know why my
Just saying,
family left.
It could last up to 6 months. So start being sober now, and you just never know.
Gosh.
6 months from now could be really good. This is Surveys and Studies and Such, brought to you by BetterCreditCards.net.
Is your credit card a good fit for you? How did you even get the card you have now? Was it mailed to you? Those are usually the worst cards. They typically have higher fees and rates. Someone has to pay all that postage to mail out millions of cards every day. If you like a better credit card, check out the website BetterCreditCards.net. This is a great place to find the cards that are usually a better fit for you. BetterCreditCards.net. That's BetterCreditCards.net.
And this is your Brain on Drugs, brought to you by Time4Rehab.com. An Illinois man was arrested at a strip club on a Friday, it was the 29th of March, when police say he refused to pay what he owed. He was at Big Al's Speakeasy at 11:40 p.m. He refused to pay $25 for, quote, unknown services.
Oh.
I wonder what that was. He tried to run off when officers arrived, but they were able to catch and detain him. States that he was escorted to a squad car. Might be the second time he was escorted that night. And he was read his rights. They said that he had never had his rights read to him before. But he did say, I used to date a stripper named Miranda Rights. The man was heavily intoxicated at the time of his arrest. What in the world is this world coming to? This is what happens when your brain is on drugs. Now, big screen, little screen, brought to you by ChannelSurferTV.com. Tom Selleck, Mr. Magnum P.I.
Yeah.
Although most people nowadays know him from his TV shows that he's been on. He's been on a lot of stuff lately, and he's still a handsome dude, isn't he?
Oh, yeah.
Well, there's a lot of folks, he's just right now writing a memoir about all of his time in showbiz, and there's a lot of folks that say he should run for political office because he's such a well-respected man. I don't know what his political leanings are, but maybe that's why I like him so much.
Yeah,
because
I know where he stands politically, and I think he would be great, but I also think that, I don't know, I think you get too many actors and stuff involved in that stuff, and I think it's better. I think we should go back to more just citizens.
There you go.
Just teachers and
Speaking of just citizens, Halsey revealed that she once considered having sex for money when she was a homeless teenager in New York City.
Well, that's lovely.
Yeah, it is. And singer Camila Cabello has signed on to star in the new Cinderella movie. So for those of you wondering if it was going to be Heidi, no, it's not Heidi. You'd be a great Cinderella.
I turned it
though.
down.
She wears glass slippers around the house. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
Here's a fun trip back to the 80s.
Surely you can't be serious.
Join us in Las Vegas for 80s in the Desert May 3rd and 4th. Hang out with other 80s fans.
International language of love.
Meet several 80s icons from the movies and rock out to awesome music from the 80s. Flock of Seagulls, The Romantics, Mr. Scandal with Patti Smythe, Thomas Dolby, Pretty Poison, and more. See the full list of bands and icons at radiotravelgroup.com. That's radiotravelgroup.com.
Now your scoop of the day brought to you by BetterCreditCards.net. Bob Dylan is opening up a whiskey distillery in Nashville at the tail end of next year. It's called Heaven's Door Distillery. They called it that because it's on the site of Elm Street Church. So Heaven's Door Distillery. There's some folks that are not thrilled about that location being a distillery.
I was going to say.
Yeah. Don't talk to me about it. Talk to Bob Dylan. It's his idea.
Oh, whatever.
Don't get mad at me. Critics are saying that Steven Tyler from Aerosmith, he brought down the house during their debut concert at the MGM Grand in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Okay.
Did you know he was there?
I did not.
Nor
so
did
that's
I.
going to be his
They're doing a residency there, I believe. And it says here, Vegas casinos are trying to sign more rock bands like Aerosmith to residencies in an effort to attract millennials. Which I'm thinking...
Aerosmith?
Yeah. But here, I read some of the comments online, and it said, no, here's why they're saying that. Because then these millennials will say, hey, Mom and Dad, you know what? We should go to Vegas. Did you know Aerosmith is playing? Really, they are? We should go to Vegas. And then, they get a free ride to Vegas. So I don't know if that's legit. It's just what Facebook says. But I think that's kind of an interesting concept. Long-running British soap opera Coronation Street is going to feature a black family for the very first time in their 59-year history. So this show's been on for 59 years. And this is the first time a family of color is going to be on there.
I'm trying to think of... Because I watched... Days of Our Lives. Oh, yeah, they were on Days of Our Lives.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
So this is
why
a British
it's
soap opera. It's called Coronation Street. It sounds very prim and proper. Shocking new report revealed that African child brides are now being sold on Facebook. What?
Oh, that's scary.
Facebook, come on, man. Get your stuff together. What are you doing?
And they block my memes?
Yeah.
Come
Heidi
on.
gets kicked off Facebook 4 times a week. She ain't tried to sell no brides on there ever. Or grooms or kids or nothing. I do have a friend that had his page blocked for... They said he was trying to sell animals on Facebook. He was selling some ornament things that were in the shape of cows. And Facebook apparently thought they were real cows. What? It's a cartoon cow. Come on, Facebook. What are you doing? Dalai Lama had to be hospitalized. Did you hear this? In New Delhi after contracting a chest infection. That's sad news. That happened last week. Astronomers captured the first ever image of a black hole on Wednesday.
I saw that.
Did you see that? It was on Google. Google changed their Google page. There was a black hole on there on Wednesday because of that. Because at first when I saw it, I was like, what in the world is that? I had no idea what that was supposed to be. And then I saw the news. I was like, oh, now that makes sense. I thought that was like a donut or something. It was just not a very good picture of a black hole. If you happen to be the...
compared to what?
But this was a
not a very good picture.
This was a cartoon. The Google thing was a cartoon picture. Now, if you happen to be the Google illustrator who did that, I apologize.
Can anyone ever live up to your expectations?
Come on, Google. Get your stuff together. You and Facebook sit in the corner for a while. But it says here, astronomers captured the first ever image of a black hole Wednesday using a network of telescopes that were positioned all around the world. So it took all of them to see it? Or
I don't know.
I'm not really sure how that works. And do we have time for this? They're telling me that we do have time for this. They're also telling me that
they're telling you
they don't exist. We have no they. A survey by the U.S. World and News. Yeah, did I say that right? Yeah, the U.S. World and News. That just sounds funny.
That does sound funny.
The U.S. World and News did a survey. They named Austin, Texas, the very best place to live in the United States.
Well, there you go.
So we have friends who live in Austin, Texas.
Let's move.
No.
I'm ready.
We'll go visit them.
I'll go start packing now.
No, you will not. We'll go visit them. That sounds fun. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show this weekend.
Do you have IRS tax problems? Are they keeping you up at night? Afraid to open your own mail or even answer your telephone? If your tax problems are affecting your family life, you need to know you have options. You have rights, and we'll make sure you get them. Call and speak with Mike Habib, the tax expert who will handle your case at 877-78-TAXES or online at myirs.taxrelief.com. That's 877-78-TAXES or myirs.taxrelief.com.
Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show. We have a special guest joining us right now, very funny man, Allan Gitlin, known as the G-Man. How you doing, sir?
Doing fine. How are you, John?
Very, very good. Now, you get to have probably one of the most fun jobs of anybody that I get to talk to, because you get to go out and perform and make people laugh all the time, don't you?
Yeah, I do stand up, and I also do a lot of acting, too, independent movies and a few music videos, and I've been in a few major movies. I was in The Bounty Hunter with Jennifer Aniston.
Oh, nice.
If you blink, you miss me, but I got paid. It don't matter.
There you go. Well, and that's the cool thing. And now, what came first, the comedy career or the acting career?
They pretty much came together. From the comedy, I went into acting. When I was much younger, I had some acting classes, and I did a few little things, but nothing major. And then, of course, you get married and you have kids, and everything kind of gets blurred. And then about 25 years ago, I got divorced and saw an ad for Caroline's Comedy School in New York, and decided I wanted to try it. It was one night a week. For 10 weeks, it was like $400. And I went into the city, which was about 35 miles away from my house, and did it for 10 weeks, and almost got thrown out of every class because I couldn't shut up. The teacher was supposed to critique your writing, and obviously get used to stage time, which unless you're on stage all the time, your stage time is very scary, let's put it that way.
Sure.
So I was critiquing everybody's writing, and the teacher kept yelling at me like, "Alan, shut up, it's my job, not yours."
Oh, yeah.
But it's funny kind of saying, I got some very good stories. I'm a good storyteller, and I'm compared to Seinfeld. I'm an observation comedian, as they call me.
That's awesome.
I pay attention to things that people don't pay attention to.
And that's one of the things I love. I love talking to comedians because comedians look at the world through kind of a different lens and see things that are hilarious that once other people realize it's there, then they laugh at it too. And I think that's really a gift.
Well, here's like something that I recently moved down to Orlando, outside Orlando, and the lady I'm living with, I came down to see her twice before I decided to move down here. And I was flying out of Newark Airport, and I had dinner one night. My flight was a little late, and so I decided to have dinner at Newark Airport. And they give me a plastic knife with a regular fork. TSA says you can't have a knife, but you can have a fork, a regular fork, though.
Isn't that just as dangerous?
I couldn't stab somebody with a fork, jugular, or, you know what I mean? Like, really? Who thought of this genius idea?
They thought of the knife. They just hadn't thought of the fork. Just wait till there's an incident,
Right. But, I mean, I'm sure people ate, hundreds of thousands of people probably ate in Newark Airport and never thought of that. Of course I did.
Exactly. Again, visiting right now with Allan. He's also known as the G-Man. Now, how long have you been known as the G-Man?
I would say since 2001. I kind of did that as my stage name as a tribute to my dad, who died on 9/11, not in 9/11, but by dying, he actually saved my best friend's life, and it's a very interesting story. I'm very proud of it.
How did that happen? Let's talk a little bit about that.
Okay. My dad and my best friend were very close friends, as our families are very close. And my dad was in the hospital, and my best friend is a religious Jewish guy who goes to synagogue every morning and prays before he goes to work. The day of 9/11, he decided to go to synagogue and pray for my dad because he knew he was in the hospital. He wasn't doing well. And the gentleman asked him if he could take him to the train station, and he said, "Yeah, I'll take you. I'm going to be taking a little later train because I want to say the special prayer for my uncle who's in the hospital. He's not doing well." And my dad died at 3 in the morning, and here it is about 8 o'clock, I guess, 8:30 maybe in the morning. I don't know exactly. And so he stayed and said this extra prayer for my dad, and he took the gentleman to the train station. Unfortunately, they couldn't get on the train because their train was the first train that wasn't allowed to go into the city.
Oh, wow.
And my best friend worked in Tower 1.
You're kidding me. So if he hadn't done that, he probably would have been right in that tower.
Correct. He probably would have been dead.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah. I'm very proud of that story, but he's a special person to me always.
I wasn't expecting a touching story like that. I was talking to a comedian here. You're supposed to make me laugh, not cry.
Well, you know what? as a funny guy as I am, I'm also pretty serious about people I love and care for. I got a big heart, and I tell people, and it's true, my dad was a very quiet man, worked 7 days a week to support his family. My mom had a big personality, and my personality came out late, but it came out, and I got her personality and his big heart.
That's awesome.
I kind of look like one of his brothers now, which I never did earlier in my lifetime, but I do now. I look like one of his brothers, actually. So, I just have fun with everything I do. I've met young people I'm a little older than a lot of people. I started in this business a little later than most people. When I meet young people on a set or audition, I always tell them, the dream, never give up your dream. But as far as you being a star, the odds are stacked against you. There's 9,000 actors, and 8,000 of them are starving.
Yeah.
Have some fun, make a little money. You never know who you meet along the way.
Absolutely. Again, our guest right now, Allan Gitlin, also known as the G-Man. And Allan, I'm going to chat with you again in the future. When you've got another project that's coming up, make sure you reach out because I'd love to chat with you again. You've been fun to talk to.
All right. I have one project coming up I'd like to talk to real quick, if you don't mind.
Absolutely. What's that?
I have a script that I wrote that I'm hoping to have a trailer. Actually, I'm having a trailer made for. It's a friend of mine in Chicago called Adam Goldsmith Private Eye. And it's a detective comedy about a guy living now that uses no technology. He wants to live back in the 80s when things were simple.
Nice.
He carries a beeper. When his beeper goes off, he says, "Can I use your cell phone?" And he has to call people 3-4 times because they don't recognize the number that's coming up.
That's awesome.
Carries an Instamatic camera, one where the film comes out and you have to wait a couple seconds for the picture.
That's awesome.
But he's old school and with a twist of new school. He's has an old-time like a Humphrey Bogart office with his name on the front door.
Yeah.
A secretary with a desk and a couch, and he's got a desk and a couch, and he lives in the same house he grew up in. He drives the first car he ever owned, but yet he's a world-class Texas Hold'em player, and he's a cross between Columbo and James Bond.
I love it.
He's Columbo because he figures stuff out by his gut, and he's James Bond because he's betting every woman in sight possible, including his secretary, who actually has knee pads in her drawer.
Oh, wow.
And I'll say no more.
Well, when that trailer is ready to go, you send it to me, and we'll share it through our social media. That sounds funny.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Again, our guest today, Allan Gitlin, also known as the G-Man. He's a comedian, also an actor in several movies, and then he's got his own project he's working on. And what will the name of that one be?
Adam Goldsmith Private Eye.
We'll be looking for that.
To Amazon or Netflix or Hulu, obviously they could change the name, but right now it's called Adam Goldsmith Private Eye.
Well, we'll be looking for that. Allan, thank you again, sir.
All right.
Again, Allan Gitlin, the G-Man. I'm going to throw a link in our show notes so you can find him online, all of the details there in the show notes for today at johnandheidishow.com.
Is your credit card a good fit for you? How did you even get the card you have now? Was it mailed to you? Those are usually the worst cards. They typically have higher fees and rates. Someone has to pay all that postage to mail out millions of cards every day. If you like a better credit card, check out the website bettercreditcards.net. This is a great place to find the cards that are usually a better fit for you. Bettercreditcards.net. That's bettercreditcards.net.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
First of all, I think this is going to probably make you chuckle, or at least smirk. Or
Okay.
maybe smile. Fun fact, Thomas Crapper developed the flush toilet.
I knew this.
1884. He simulated the materials a toilet would normally handle to create a super flush, which had completely cleared away 10 apples, 1 flat sponge,
Jeez.
3 air vessels, plumber's smudge coated over the pan, 4 pieces of paper adhering closely to a soiled surface, and it was a fantastic feat of flushing. So if that resembles what he was typically going through, and he was doing 10 apples in one load, dude, what were you eating, man? That's a lot to go down. And
That's pretty impressive
That is very
because the
impressive.
toilets today, you have to
Yeah.
flush like 4 times just
Yeah.
to go through a
For
regular...
one apple.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for listening to our, what was it again? Fun fact for you on this weekend edition. I don't know what I'm talking about. Thanks for listening this weekend.
Here's a fun trip back to the 80s.
Surely you can't be serious.
Join us in Las Vegas for 80s in the Desert May 3rd and 4th. Hang out with other 80s fans.
International language of love.
Meet several 80s icons from the movies and rock out to awesome music from the 80s. Flock of Seagulls, The Romantics, Mr. Scandal with Patty Smythe, Thomas Dolby, Pretty Poison, and more. See the full list of bands and icons at radiotravelgroup.com. That's radiotravelgroup.com.
Now, fear this. It's fun with phobias. Somniphobia. Somniphobia.
The fear of being awake.
Somniphobia. No, it's the fear of sleep. Insomnia. Insomnia is...
You can't sleep.
Yeah.
So wouldn't insomniphobia be the term for that?
Somniphobia is the fear of sleep. So insomnia would be the fear of not sleeping? Maybe? I don't know.
Okay. Yeah,
Who knew
you're right.
flammable and inflammable meant the same thing? That's a Heidi line. Somniphobia. Today's fun with phobias.
Do you have a pretty good sense of humor? You might like this. Early in the morning each day and every day, we share something weird to make people laugh at WeirdGiftOfTheDay.com. You don't need to sign up for anything. You don't even need to spend a penny. Just follow the page on Facebook and get a smile to start each day when we share the Weird Gift of the Day. Not on Facebook? That's okay. You can see the weird gifts on our website too. WeirdGiftOfTheDay.com. That's WeirdGiftOfTheDay.com.
Now some weird news brought to you by WeirdGiftOfTheDay.com. The sight of a man wearing a thong was all that it took for a Florida homeowner to call the sheriff's office last month. They arrested 31-year-old George Blanken on March the 12th. Says homeowner saw him building a shed and throwing chairs. They stated the trespasser was wearing a swimming suit and then a thong. They found him on the property. He was not wearing a shirt or shorts. He was covered with sand as if he had just been at the beach.
I'm glad they said a name because I would have assumed this was somebody else
You
that
know
we
somebody?
know.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah. The man was arrested, but refused to identify himself. At the county jail, they used fingerprints to confirm Mr. Blanken was who he was. Arrest report read, he stated that he was an artist that makes things from garbage. He faces charges for giving a false name and obstruction without violence. So what was he? Was he doing something illegal?
I think she just was scared because she saw somebody in
a thong. He was trespassing, I guess, getting the garbage.
So he was looking through a garbage.
Apparently.
Okay.
I don't know. Bizarre story. I've got a link to it if you want to read all about it.
But once it's outside, it is free.
That's all that garbage on the curb, it's all free.
You can have that.
Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show. Now your moment of duh, brought to you by FunkyMonkeyShirts.com. I have not been on that site in a long time, by the way.
No,
You think they still have shirts?
I don't know.
You think they're still funky?
I don't know.
I'll bet they are. FunkyMonkeyShirts.com. Police say a man has been arrested for falsely reporting a carjacking March the 24th of this year. According to the officers, they got there at 11 a.m. The victim, Joshua Scott, told them a man struck him in the face and stole his 2011 Nissan Sentra. Well, that was March 24th. A couple weeks later, April 2nd, they met up with him again to talk about this because there were some sketchy things going on.
Right.
Some inconsistencies, as they say in the biz. And that's when he finally said, okay, yeah, I made it all up. I made up the carjacking to cover up the fact that I gave my vehicle to a friend in exchange for some meth.
Oh, my gosh.
He's been charged with false reporting. So don't do that. What a terrible idea. And imagine if his friend had been caught with his car. He would have been caught for
arrested.
car theft.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, he would have been caught, arrested for something illegal like stealing a car instead of something illegal like selling meth for a car.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. Thanks for listening to your moment of duh.
Is your credit card a good fit for you? How did you even get the card you have now? Was it mailed to you? Those are usually the worst cards. They typically have higher fees and rates. Someone has to pay all that postage to mail out millions of cards every day. If you like a better credit card, check out the website bettercreditcards.net. This is a great place to find the cards that are usually a better fit for you. Bettercreditcards.net. That's bettercreditcards.net.
Now, these three things. Heidi, tell me, what do these three things have in common? May, bean, flag. Put a word behind all of those. Flag, may,
Pole.
bean, Pole. Correct. Flagpole, maypole, beanpole. What is a maypole?
It's that game that you can play. It's outside and there's like ribbons all around it, and children used to run around with ribbons. No, it was like old, like a long time ago.
So like,
but I've seen photos.
Our parents and stuff.
I think more like grandparents.
Okay. I've never played that. I've seen flagpoles. Beanpole. I don't know really what that is. Although
they call skinny people.
Yeah, I would say I've heard our son referred to. Oh, you're quite the beanpole.
Yeah.
Nobody's referred to me as that for some reason. Just the bean part.
Me either.
Quite the bean. Not the beanpole, just the bean. Thanks for listening to The John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
This portion of The John and Heidi Show is brought to you by The John and Heidi Show. That sounds kind of funny, but it's true. Go to your local radio station and ask them to start carrying The John and Heidi Show. Here's the best part. They can carry the show for free. They play a couple commercials, but it doesn't cost them anything every month. So if you know a radio station that could use a little bit of help, send them our way. Send them to johnandheidishow.com. Again, johnandheidishow.com. We would love to do a radio program in your community. Then you could listen to the podcast and listen to us on the radio.
John and Heidi.
We always like to wrap things up around here with good news, and I've got some good news for you, brought to you by radiotravelgroup.com. Our big excursion is coming up in just a few weeks. We'll be in Las Vegas, Nevada for 80s in the Desert. All of the details at radiotravelgroup.com. Here's a headline. Mom charges cougar and pries its jaw open to save her son.
Holy cow.
Never, ever get between a mama and her child. Kevin Bromley is crediting his wife, Chelsea, for saving the life of their son after it was attacked by a cougar in their backyard.
Those older women are getting much more aggressive.
No, not that kind of cougar.
Oh.
No. This was a cat kind of cougar. 7-year-old Zach was playing in the family backyard. This was in British Columbia when a cougar clawed its way through their metal fence and then tried to run up and pounce on Zach.
Jeez.
It said Zach tried to run, but the cougar pounced on him. That's what I meant to say. Chelsea, that's the mom, heard this commotion from in the house. She ran outside and she tried to drag her son away. She sprinted out and charged the animal, fighting to make it release her son's arm. So selfless, she had to get its mouth off Zach. She literally, and she says, I'm not glorifying this, I'm just saying what happened. I had to pry his mouth open. The cougar finally did let go and ran away. Zach is recovering with some gashes on his head and his neck and his arm.
Jeez.
But imagine how bad that could have been, and imagine how it could have been for her if that cougar would have started attacking her too.
But you know what? There is nothing that a mother wouldn't do for their child. So
yeah, it's unbelievable. I've got a link to that story if you want to read all about it. It's in the show notes at johnandheidishow.com. Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. Have a great weekend. Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show. I don't want to be the one to remind you of this, but Monday is tax day. So if you don't have that done, you should work on that this weekend. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.